So let's get this straight. Buying a home in San Antonio isn't as easy as you see on TikTok or YouTube. It's a lot harder than you think. You're about to make the biggest financial decisions you're probably ever gonna make that you do not want to be at the end and get hustled. Bad lenders, shady realtors, shady builder reps, and even by well-meaning people giving bad advice. So let me break this down for you. I want to talk to you everything about the process and things you need to look out for, because just because you don't know everything doesn't mean you shouldn't be well informed. So let me give you the starter point so at least you have a good foundation on what to do. As always, guys, my name's Eli with Wealth Partners Realty Group, and this is the Unlock Podcast. I would love for you guys to hit the subscribe button because we're actually going to start pumping so much more content for you. So make sure to hit the subscribe button and let's jump into it. You will be shocked how many people think a pre-qualification letter is the same thing as a pre-approval. Just to let you know, they're not. So a pre-qualification is pretty much you talking to somebody, letting them know how much you make, you know, kind of where your credit score is, and nobody really doing a full jumping into verification of any of this. There's no foundation on anything because they haven't really checked. When you get a pre-approval, they will check your credit. They're going to pull it. They're going to check your work history, your tax returns, your check stuff. They're going to check everything. And that's what makes a stronger offer for you when you're putting an offer in for the home. And I'm going to be honest, using a VA loan, if you're a veteran or in the military, is going to be key. And using a VA lender that deals with VA loans on an everyday basis is going to be better for you. Depending on the loan that you're using, for example, a VA loan, there's different requirements that go into getting you approved. There's different qualifications, different requirements, different overlays, different policies. So making sure who you have for a lender is gonna be key. Now, how do you find this person? You're gonna need a realtor or another person that maybe has been through the process before to recommend somebody to you. That doesn't mean you automatically go with them, but you should interview them. And that being said, let's actually start with the realtor. Now, I know you just got a cousin that got their license, but I'm not trying to say not to use them, but when it comes to the biggest financial decision you're ever gonna make, you don't want to be nice about this. You want somebody who's gonna know what they're doing to help you really get the best deal possible, because you're talking about signing for 30 years on a loan. You're gonna need a realtor who knows how to write an offer, how to read a contract, how to tell if a deal is bad or good, how to read the market, how to do a CMA, and other things like has been through enough houses to know what's a bad foundation, to know what's a bad appraisal and a financial hiccup. Here in San Antonio, you need to also have a realtor that knows when a builder's rep is gonna be too aggressive with what they're asking for, or actually really cares about you and your family and will wiggle and put a good deal for you guys together. So my wife is working with a client, and when we were putting the offer in, she was telling the client that, you know, everything in the details, and the client was really wanting an appliance package. And normally in a house, you're gonna get a stove, you're gonna get the dishwasher, you're gonna get the refrigerator, normal. What you don't normally get in these houses, like refrigerator, washer and dryer, garage door opener, things like that. So he had expressed that he would like that to be a part of the incentive, something that he does not have to pay for. After talking to this builder rep that we haven't worked with before, because usually depending on the builder, we like to be loyal and go to the same builder rep because we know they do good business. Expressing to them about the appliances, they were like, well, we can probably put that into the loan. And what that means is that they were gonna finance the cost of the appliances into my client's loan or her client's loan. And that's not cool. You gotta remember, over 30 years, compound interest, that washer, that dryer, that refrigerator would have been really expensive. If your client has the money, they should just buy it out of pocket and they would save so much more. So after him saying, well, I don't know if we can do that, we're saying, hey, we don't know if you can do it. Exactly, because you're not the one that makes the deal, your upper management does. So we would like you to put the deal at this price and put in there for the appliances to be out of pocket for the builder. Can you please do that for us? You need a realtor that's not just gonna unlock doors, you need one to unlock opportunities for you. Now let's talk about money. This is probably the biggest segment that we try to emphasize for our clients, because just because you can get approved for the world doesn't mean you should buy the world. There's been so many times my clients we talk about budget, where we wanna be around monthly, and then we do an application and finding out that they can actually get approved for a lot more. You got to remember there's other things that come in that monthly payment, not just your mortgage. There's interest, there's HOAs, there's taxes, your homeowner's insurance, and don't forget that there's closing costs that you have to cover. The real biggest thing that is happening right now is with this new construction wave that's happening. Since they're a lot bigger of a company, they're massive companies, they have a lot more money. First of all, they're making money off you for buying their product. So again, they're not building it for what they're selling for, they're building it at a discount, selling to you for more. Just like anything else we do, it's capitalism. That's what it is. But you should care because you need to know what is not at a cost to you and what's being funded into your loan, or what's even being asked for you to pay at closing. So for example, here's one thing to think about when we talk about budget and different houses, different locations, is that let's say, for example, a house that's $325,000 in Helotes, that's a 2.5 tax rate, might cost even more than a house that has $340,000 in Shirts that has a lower tax rate and no HOAs. It's not just about the sticker price, it's about the other things that makes up your loan and makes up your mortgage payment. And if you're not thinking of this ahead of time, it's really bad, because at the end of the day, what's going to happen, especially with new construction, is whenever you sign on the dotted line, that first year is going to be comfortable, it's going to be gravy. The following year, you're going to have an influx of taxes that you didn't pay, because again, a lot of these videos that TikTokers make talking about a really low down payment don't include your taxes or your HOAs. That's not something we want for you. This is why whenever we give you a price, we give you the best estimated price, including taxes, all in, your HOAs if they have them, and even your homeowner's insurance. We don't just talk about the price of just your mortgage and interest. Even right now, and it's really difficult because as much as our intentions are good and we give you all the information, you have to be the one to make the choices of what you're gonna do. And this is why you see so many TikTok videos of people just struggling and are so upset. But again, it also comes down to if the realtor and the lender explain everything to you, and at the same time too, there needs to be a responsibility for you, because you're signing to understand, like, was this explained to me? And if it wasn't explained to me, I should have asked this. And this is why we have this video, because some of you may not be here in San Antonio, Texas. You may be buying somewhere else. Ask all the questions. And here's the catch too, is like, you don't know what questions to ask, which is why we're making this video. And here's the catch too, is like, you don't know what questions to ask, which is why we're making this video. So let's build a game plan. This is something I do with every one of my clients when they call me, because again, every person depends on the situation and who they are and what they're doing and what they're trying to do. Not everybody's the same. Now, for some of us, we have maybe more bills. Like my wife and I have 2 cars, we have them both in our names, and we're paying them off, and we have a lot higher payment. If our income does not adjust to counteract that, and we don't make enough, then yes, we will not qualify for a home. But back into building a game plan, we talk about things like, hey, where do you work? What school districts do you want to be around? How far are you willing to drive? Is staying next to family important to you? Depending on the location also dictates a lot of other things, because it dictates your tax rates. It dictates, traffic areas, things like that. And so a lot of times people, want to be in the most fanciest areas, but again, the higher the tax rate, the more money you have to pay per month, the more purchasing power it takes from what you can and cannot do. It's all an influx of numbers. That's literally all it is. And the better you can understand this, or the better that is explained to you, the better you will understand that you may not have a lot of flexibility, but it's still, we don't want you to feel like you have to choose something you don't want. Again, not the rush to buy a house, but the urgency to buy a house, and the difference between them, because at the end of the day, there needs to be a sense of urgency, because things change in the market all the time. So again, we'll sit down, talk about all these things, especially the location. The biggest thing, especially here in San Antonio, there's other bigger cities too, is that I always talk about these things about, work, school, things like that, because again, for us to look at everything in San Antonio, it will take us forever. Our job is to not overwhelm you, is to narrow down your options that you actually qualify for, so that way you can make a very good informational decision on what's laid in front of you. And after talking to you a little bit, we kind of can give you suggestions on what loan officers to pick, and kind of go from there. There's a few loan officers, there's actually quite a few loan officers that I use. And again, not every loan officer is created equal. With the reason being that we know this for sure is my wife actually decided to get her loan officer's license. She took it last week. Her test, passed it on the first try. And the reason we did that is because there was times where we're talking to loan officers and we're noticing them not qualifying our clients. And all we have to do is just like, hey, haven't you seen this? What about this law? Can you switch this around for this? Legally, let me add. And they're qualified. And we're sitting there and we're like, how many loan officers are like this that will have clients come to them and just because it's not a slam dunk for them, have told them they are not able to qualify, and those people have to leave not being able to purchase a home. So me and my wife came to the decision, and she decided to get her loan officer's license. So we're actually going to be able to do that. Does that mean you have to go with us every single time? No, because it depends on the situation of what you're trying to do. We are probably going to be what's called a save a deal. So a lot of times, whenever you go to a loan officer, especially a builder loan officer, they're a lot more stricter on what they can and can't do. They have overlays and policies because their investors don't want to have too much risk. And so a lot of times, unfortunately, what happens, and we've been through this before, this is why we did the loan officer side, is they would fall out of qualification at the last minute for whatever reason. And now that they are outside the parameters of their overlays, they are unqualified, and unless something changes, they're not going to be able to get approved. So what's happened a lot of times is some builders will allow us to take our clients to an outside lender. They will keep the incentives, like they'll do the closing costs, maybe buy down the rate. A lot of them, some won't, some will, and still get the deal done. And that's what we want to provide, because we've noticed that a lot of times, as soon as something falls out of approval status, some people just don't want to do the work. Unfortunately, they have a lot of stuff going on. I get that, but it's their job, and we feel like it's a disservice. And so we want to be able to be an option, a solution. That's the whole job as a realtor. In essence, is we're problem solvers. And so this is just us solving another problem that we figured out, and that's in the market. At the same time, too, she's fully bilingual, and that's another thing, is that she's actually going to be coming on these videos a lot more, because we've noticed that a lot of people from our Spanish speaking community don't understand, but aren't given the opportunity to give them their options and information to let them know that they can buy a home. It may be a certain different way, but there are opportunities for them, or at least explain to them what they would need to do to get qualified. Nobody takes the time to do that. It's very, very few people that would do that for our Spanish community, and it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And so we want to, again, we saw a problem, and we're bringing a solution. So instead of just saying, hey, there's a problem, we're saying, hey, there's a problem, here's a solution. That's what we're all about. So I'm super excited, guys. I'm super excited. We are going to continue doing a lot of these. This is just a warm-up to what we're going to be doing in this series. So again, make sure to hit the sub button, hit the notification button, so you know when we do videos. In the next video, we're going to be walking through stuff on what to look for when you're looking for a home. What are the more important things to think about? What not to fall for. There's a lot of traps out there that you fall for. And again, this is probably the biggest thing, is don't buy just on emotion, because there's a little emotion. You want to be happy and excited about what you're getting into, but that shouldn't dictate a lot of your decision making, your logical decision making. And so we want to really help you guys understand that, and hopefully, especially here in the San Antonio area, with these videos showing you what we know, to hopefully show you that it's not just about doing tours. It's not just about showing you houses. It's not just about showing you the pretty things and the pretty side of real estate. It's about having a realtor, me and my wife, loan officer, a team that is not just going to open doors and show you pretty houses, but really show you that there is logical, fundamental questions you should be asking, and things you should know before signing on the dotted line. Because at the end of the day, you are going to be signing for 30 years, not to scare you, but to make you aware of the gravity of purchasing a home. But at the same time, too, to give you the confidence and understanding that you have two great realtors that are seasoned realtors, and a new loan officer. In Well Partners Realty Group, we also have our broker, who is Nadine Long. She is actually the president of Women's Council here in San Antonio, Texas. She's been a realtor for quite a while too, and she's very knowledgeable. We lean on her for a lot of things that we don't have. So we want you to have the confidence to know that it's not just us, but it's her and our rest of our team. Our brokerage has a lending side now. And that's what Sarah's going to be doing. Well, Partners Lending, we actually have a lending side now. There's not a lot of brokerages that also has a lending side. So we're expanding to solve the solutions of San Antonio, Texas, and surrounding areas. So please, 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 if you have any questions, any concerns, all of our information is in the description, and we'll be happy to help you guys. God bless you. I can't wait to make these videos for you guys. Keep in touch, and let's buy a home this year.